specialty. Now, the seventh item that I want to make sure you have in your shop are items with variations. So do not settle for selling an item just as is. If possible, allow for at least some type of variation within each product listing. So I would say at least 2 options. So let's say you make jewelry, have a long version of the necklace and a shorter version. Let's say you make scarves, have a blue one and a red one. So examples to think of are color options, size options, font options, neckline options, or bundle options. So your goal is to be really simple, straightforward, and simple choices are the goal. Do not overcomplicate the options. It will paralyze the customer and they will leave and never come back. So I recommend 2 to 4 options. If you have more than 4 options, I've found that it can cause customers to take a break to think about it and then they don't come back. So you want to offer enough options to give them added value of choice, but not too many options to where it is confusing and overwhelming and they just can't make the decision on the spot. So here's an example. If you sell hats, one variation idea would be selling a hat with a pom-pom or without. So you just have the variation titled with or without pom-pom, and then you have the price difference right there. Variation idea could be color. So white, gray, black, or pink. Very simple choices. Variation idea could be size. So baby size, toddler size, or big kid size. Another variation idea could be bundling multiple items. So maybe in your listing photo, you have a hat with matching mittens. You could have the variation be item type. That's what it's called. You customize that variation title, call it item type, hat alone for one price, mittens alone for one price, or the hat plus mitten set for another price. So maybe you are selling a resume design service. Variation idea for this could be you sell the resume template alone, you sell the cover letter alone, and then you have an option for resume and cover letter. Just like the previous example, you have a variation called item type. And then on the dropdown, they can see that they can either click resume alone, cover letter alone, or resume plus cover letter. Another example we're going to go into is children's baby blanket. One idea for a variation would be having sizes. So the lovey size, that's what we call them. They're like 8 inches by 8 inches, just for the little, baby to kind of snuggle with, a stroller size, or a toddler bed size. So those would be 3 different price points, 3 variations, clear options. It's not going to take a customer 5 days to think about which option they want. Another variation idea could be the plain version or with a name added. And with this, then you'll have a personalization text box in the listing and they can write in their name. Another variation idea would be to have a picture. Your main listing photo has maybe a blanket with some little baby booties in it. So you can offer, it's just the same item type variation. They can select the blanket or the booties or the blanket and the booties. Another variation idea could be instead of color, you could do solid color or a pattern. Let's say the pattern takes you more time to do. So solid color could be a lower price point, and the pattern, you could offer, 2 different types of patterns or just one type of pattern, and that could be a higher price point. Now, here are some don'ts when choosing products, okay? Do not try to emulate a bestseller product from a successful shop. I see so many shops try to do this. They try to piggyback on to a bestseller from another shop, kind of ride on their coattails. If you are a smaller shop trying to do this, you do not have the strength of that successful shop's reputation. So you're going to lose, okay? It's going to be a huge waste of time if you try to do that. You would be forced to compete on price because that is the only way that you're able to be better if you're trying to copy something that a successful shop is doing. And if you are competing on price, you are not getting the customer that you want because we want to go after customers that are not price sensitive. And if you are competing on price, it's going to be really hard to do that because a successful shop who has a best seller of that item, they are likely doing more mass production. They are likely buying their products in bulk, their materials in bulk. So they are having the benefit of scale here. And if you are starting at a very small scale, the cost of your materials will be higher and you don't have the process for production down to such a streamlined process where your time is being used most efficiently. So it's going to be very hard to compete on price. And you might even be surprised if you try to do this, that you try to undercut them by $5 and then because they have room in their margin, they undercut you. This is not the battle you want to get into. I've seen it happen. It's just never a game that you want to play. So instead, you can still look at those successful top seller items for inspiration. But the difference is we're going to take inspiration from elements and look at what elements are making that item successful and find inspiration through that specific element. So maybe that is the style of the listing photo. Maybe it's a color scheme that they're using, the strength of a specific customer that they're targeting. Maybe it's a unique customer that is coming to that listing and you realize that that customer has money to spend. You don't need to offer them the exact same thing, but it can open your eyes to maybe a specific customer that you might have been overlooking. The next don't is to not sell anything that you can't at least get minimum wage when you're starting. As you scale, we're going to pull levers in your business to improve profitability, pricing levers, margin levers, etc. But in the beginning, even in the beginning, you need to make sure that you're at least able to pay yourself. We cannot start working for free. You might say, oh, I'm willing to work for free and just to get some sales. That's not going to be sustainable and you're going to burn out doing that. You're also going to train your customers that your pricing is just so dirt cheap and you're going to be acquiring the wrong kind of customers. So we don't want to be working for free and we don't want to sell things that we can't make money on. Also, don't choose something that's super breakable where the chance of breaking in shipment is 10% or worse. Now, even if you insure your packages, it's not worth it. Your hourly rate is going to be cut by like 75% if you are having to deal with damaged products after shipment. I found that this actually takes more time than creating the product itself. So in my opinion, it's just not worth it because you're not going to want to do it long term. And if you're doing a product just short term, it's not going to be a long-term business decision. Now, the next don't is to not copy another shop's product mix or branding. If you copy them, you're never going to be as good as the original. It's always best to be an original at whatever you are. If you copy someone, you automatically diminish your value. You're always going to be second to them. You're never going to be the first choice because you're not the original. People want the original. So I'm going to tell you a little behind the scenes secret story that I have. There's a shop on Etsy that copies every single one of our products. They sometimes sometimes copy and paste my descriptions, my policies, the wording of my policies, the about sections. They'll just change a word here and there. They copy the variations, the sizing options, my photography style. They try to undercut our pricing by 10 to 20%. They've been doing this for 4 or 5 years now of the 6 years that I've been in business. The real key and kicker here that I probably shouldn't mention is that I actually know the person. It was a friend of mine who let me know that she was going to be doing that. It was quite shocking and upsetting at first. Whenever you are copied, once you start being successful, you will be copied. But I just want this to be, reassuring to you when you're in that position. And also I want to discourage you now from taking that strategy because it just never works. So this person, this shop tried to basically clone our shop. Every time we put out something new, she copies it within about a week or 2. They undercut our pricing by 10 to 20%. And yet we track their sales because, why wouldn't you, right? They continue to get about 1 sale a day while we're getting 18 to 20 sales a day. So even if you try to follow and copy the most successful shop down to the wording that they use and the branding and everything about their shop, you are never going to be the original. So it's going to be a waste of time and it's not the way to scale and grow quickly. I don't want you to waste your time trying to do that because you're not going to win that way. And I want you to win. I want you to scale and grow as fast as possible. So now we are going to go into the idea of how do I create more products because maybe I only have 1 or 2 ideas. How do I create variations and how do I create a shop that looks really full and ready for people to shop in? So you do not need a ton of items to get started. I started with 1 single item. You do, however, need a ton of photos of different examples of this 1 single item. These photos are going to be of items that you actually made and shipped to people or that you've actually made. And then you are going to expand and grow your listing count by creating duplicate listings. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Now I'm going to show you how to actually create variations of an item if you only have 1 product to sell. We're going to go to Shop Manager. In the next module next week, we're going to go through exactly how to create a listing. So if you don't know how to create a listing, that's fine. So we are going to go to a new listing. We're going to create a listing and add multiple photos of the same type of item. So let's say you sell baby blankets. Well, we're going to do 3 different colors of those blankets. Let's say you sell digital downloads. You're going to do 3 different color schemes of that type of download. So the shape of the image isn't correct, but this is for the purpose of knowing how to create multiple variations of a listing. So here we're going to call this kids backpack and we're titling what the main listing photo is. So strawberry, we're going to just say, I made it. This is actually a JanSport backpack. We're going to call it backpacks. Now, what I want to do here is show you how to make variations. So we're just going to say description and we're not going to even add tags. You have to put in a price and a quantity just to get started. So now you add variations. I like always creating a new variation. I never recommend using the variation types that they allow. So I'm going to do color pattern. Add that. You're going to have strawberry, tan, and tie-dye. So we are going to change the price of each one. Let's say that the strawberry and the tie-dye are more expensive because they take more time for us to print. You can also add another variation, but for this purpose, we're just going to add this one. We're going to adjust the price. So we're going to go $39.99, $29.99 for the plain, $39.99. Now you're going to have to put in some shipping information just to be able to actually save this as a draft. Now we're saving this as a draft. So now it is in your drafts. And what you are going to do is click down here, click copy. You're going to change the main photo to a different one. You're going to end up changing the title. You're going to change the whole title for this, tie-dye, and you're going to click save as draft. Now we're going to make the third one. You can copy either of them. We're going to put the tan one in the front. And we're going to change the whole title and change the tags and change at least 1 sentence in the description. So I'm not publishing these because I don't want to publish JanSport backpacks on Etsy right now. But so as you can see, boom, you have all of this. And you can actually create a whole section, which I will show you in the next module. And we're going to add a section titled backpacks. Save. So I just want to make sure that you know how to do this so that you can reference back when you are trying to create multiple listings of one type of product. And this is going to help your shop look really full and ready for customers to shop in. It's going to make you look like you've been around a lot longer, and it's just a lot more inviting, and it shows them your options. So I highly recommend referencing back to this video when you are creating listings in the next module.